back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1 minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
And I'm Rob Cabasco, and Kyle, the year was 1995. Her driver's license, her credit cards, her bank accounts, her identity deleted. Who's her? Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
And the movie is The Net.
The Net. I remember that movie.
Oh, the movie is so ridiculous. Now look.
It's funny, like, some of the stuff that happens in that movie could happen now, but in 95, it was like,
No.
oh, man. Do you know what the resolution of security cameras was like in 1995?
Oh. It was, that was a movie, typical of Hollywood to, like, cash in on something that's, like, a thing.
Right.
And, okay, it's just, and Sandra Bullock was, obviously great actress. Sure. She was huge mid-90s.
Yes.
her career just takes off after Speed.
Yeah.
And so, I just always look back at that movie because I was working on the internet in 95, believe it or not, right?
Yeah. I was in college, so I was doing a lot of stuff on the web.
No, so, you go see this movie and you're like, okay, what is happening here? And I bring it up because I think anytime someone tries to visualize the internet, first of all, where are the tubes? I don't see the tubes.
There's no tubes and no wires.
Interesting. Anyway, here we are.
So here we are at minute 70 of Louis Leterrier's Incredible Hulk from 2008, deep into the World Wide Web. So as we pick up where we left off, which is Ross is in mid-rant. So he's still, and once again, I still feel bad for Spar because I feel like a lot of this is directed to her, even though he's doing it. So I guess we're going to talk about two things. So like there's what's going on with Ross and the searching and stuff too, and then there's what's going on with Betty and Bruce because the two are sort of overlaid with each other. So we'll talk about Ross's stuff first because he's ranting through most of this minute, even though it's overlaid on it too. So let's see. He says, if he was trying to escape, he'd be long gone. He's looking for help, and that's how we're going to get him. Okay, let's pause there. He's looking for help, and that's how we're going to get him. How does he know this? Like, how does he know he's looking for help? He got something from there. Like, he doesn't know he got the data. He basically, as far as from the outside, it looks like Bruce came and kidnapped Betty.
Right.
But, like, they don't really know. They knew he was on campus, but they don't know he got the data or whatever, too. How do they know he's looking for help? And, okay, so anyways, the rant continues. We know what they're after. You do? And we know he's been talking to someone. You'll have copies of the correspondence. And then it goes, oh, that's when the penny drops. They talked about how they were having a hard time doing it, but they had his laptop. So it looks like they managed to figure out that he's having an online conversation with somebody and sent the blood or something and all that stuff. Like they know that there's someone on the other end of it. So they know he's looking for Mr. Blue. So I'm going to credit Major Spar with figuring all that stuff out. I think it was her and her team, and I think she's undervalued.
After this last moment with Ross,
it's a man's army.
Yes.
Right? And he says, the aliases Mr. Green and Mr. Blue have been added to the SHIELD database. SHIELD? Ooh.
Database?
No, SHIELD's the exciting part, not the database
part.
As we'll see, SHIELD at this point stands for Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division. But previously, it stood for Strategic Hazard Intervention Espionage Logistics Directorate. But do you know what it was originally, Rob?
No.
The Supreme Headquarters International Espionage Law Enforcement Division.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And as the joke says in the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it sounds like someone really wanted the word to say SHIELD.
Yeah, pretty much. You got anything that has Supreme, that's pretty top. That's top notch.
Yeah. And then his rant ends with, and when he slips up, we'll be ready.
But he's not going to slip up.
He's not going to slip up because he's Bruce Banner.
Wait, is he going to slip up?
He's probably going to slip up.
Yeah, he's going to slip up.
So now we come back to what they're doing at the same time. So Bruce and Betty are at a mechanic shop or whatever, and so we see Betty is giving most of that $700 to the guy there. What is she doing? Well, we'll find out.
We don't know yet.
While that transaction is happening, Bruce goes over to the computer and decides to do some computer stuff. And if you've been listening as long as from episode 1, you know we're about to get super nerdy about computer stuff. Okay, so that monitor is an NEC Multisync XV17 17-inch SVGA CRT monitor. That's super VGA.
Which, by the way, and for the time, that was a pretty nice monitor.
It was a pretty nice monitor.
17
Actually,
was on the high end.
A guy is selling them like right now, and they're still like $300.
Really?
So I mean, like, yeah, I guess if you need an SVGA, cathode ray tube monitor,
right, that hasn't been burned in with any imagery.
Yeah, right.
Then sure.
Especially with this one, yeah. We don't know what kind of computer it is because we never actually see that, but we know it's running Windows XP.
And of course, we should note that the monitor is using the famous monitor stand that all monitors like this used at one time or another. Books.
Right. Yeah.
Which is great.
Just to get up higher because the actual computer itself is probably gigantic. Because we know it has a CD-ROM drive from what's on the desktop. Right. So it's running XP. Now, it really should be running Windows 7. Technically, if he was keeping up to date, it would be running Windows Vista. But I think we all, the computer nerds, know you should never install Windows Vista. So Windows 7 was, still sort of in the future at this point. So he's still running XP, probably wisely. So it has Adobe Reader 7. That's exciting. And Nero Smart Start. So that's how we know that there's like a CD-ROM attached to it.
Oh, you can see that on the desktop.
Yep. And most importantly, it's running Norton.
Oh.
In the taskbar, there's a big Norton 360 thing on there because all computers in this world are running Norton. And it has nothing to do with Edward Norton. It has a lot to do with product placement.
Yes. Now, okay, so there is something we have discussed off mic, right? And I'm going to bring this up now because it's something visual.
Yes.
So as he gets ready to bring up to send an email is what he's going to do. There's the keyboard there, and the keyboard is the classic style mechanical extended keyboard that everyone's familiar with from the 90s and a little later than that. And it has one of those really funky soft plastic covers over it that's really predominant in dirty environments.
Yeah.
So a garage or anything like that.
Yep.
But he takes his USB stick and he sticks it right into an upward facing USB port on the keyboard. And we talked about this. Okay, I've looked. I'm not saying that's not possible.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing keyboards that ever had an upward-facing USB interface. Apple, if you remember these, when first of all, keyboards like this wouldn't even be USB. They were probably still serial bus or a variety of different connections.
Right.
But even if you did went to the USB, Apple was very popular for putting USB ports on the sides of their keyboards, right?
Sure.
For mirrors and stuff. But this keyboard, this style of keyboard from the time it is, I don't think it has that. And this is not jumping too far ahead here, but you'll see a moment when this moment concludes, he pulls the USB stick out. If you pause it, as we have, the hole that the USB stick is stuck in looks like it was handmade.
Yeah, there's just no way that there would be an upward-facing USB port on a computer like this running XP back in 2008. Like, why do we go into this? Because we're nerds. Yeah.
Because we love tech like this. Yeah. And okay, obviously from a scene composition standpoint, you do this because
it keeps it in the shot with the monitor.
And plus you want it to be clear to the audience. Oh, look, it's his USB stick. Oh, it lit up.
Yeah.
No, we don't want him scurrying around on the floor of a garage looking for the USB port on the back of the computer.
Right.
No, that's not going to happen. It's just something that you wanted to show in terms of the storytelling of this. I just find it interesting that some prop guy had a Dremel a hole into a keyboard and then put some sort of connector so that when he inserted the thing, the light goes on.
Exactly. And probably had to put an LED on there because that, like, I can't imagine in 2008 that a SanDisk had a flashing green light at the end of it either. So
that's the wonder. I think that's fantastic. Somebody's job was to do that.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. He fires up Outlook, and 2008. This is more than 10 years ago when this movie was shot, and Outlook looks the same. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's just very, very small things they've done, but like, wow. Microsoft.
Yikes.
Yeah. Right. So I think it was also interesting that apparently he sent this email from the guy's email. Like, he doesn't log in. He just fires up the guy's Outlook and sends it off the thing. So it's from, the Virginia Mechanic 05 at AOL.com or whatever it is that he has set up. We don't actually see what the guy's email address is, but Mr. Blue's going to get this email from who the heck is that?
But here's the thing. Like, you would think, as we've just discussed, Bruce, very smart guy. He knows that the chase is afoot. He's not going to use the Mr. Blue, Mr. Green, right? He's going to be like Mr. Cyan from Mr. Mold. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Because
I think
that would make sense.
Also, they're using color, so you think it's anonymous. It's generic enough that it'll do it. So he puts in the email, and this is what's interesting. There's another little continuity burble here because he knows the guy's email address, and also the guy's email address not only has his name, but also where he works in it. When did Bruce find this out?
Wait, what? I totally didn't.
Because the last time we knew they were having an anonymous conversation. He sent it to a PO box when he shipped the blood. There was never any conversation about the fact that he knew what the guy's name was, because it's in the email address. And the location, it says where he's from, too. How did they find... I mean, I'm hoping that in a future minute, they'll discuss some of this stuff, because up to this point, we had no idea that Bruce knew this much.
But now, did you think, though... Now, is that just an implication that at some point they did exchange emails? Because notice that the email, it's S. Stearns with the E being a 3.
Yeah, leet speak.
Which is a typical password thing, right? That's to make it not
so he
exactly
must be a
what it
gamer.
is. Yeah, right.
So it should be what 55T3.
This is true.
Because it says at Grayburn College, so he knows that much too. I couldn't tell what kind of file he was using. I think it was a PDF, but I couldn't tell. The icon was very small, so the Gamma Research data, I couldn't tell what it was.
No, it does look like the icon looks like a PDF at that time. Yeah,
I thought it was a PDF. Yeah. Obviously the email address is to SST3RNS62, so Stearns, essentially 62, at GrayburnCollege.net. I emailed Stearns62 at Grayburn College.
Did you really?
So I was like, I wonder if that's still real. And it bounced it back almost immediately. I was hoping somebody would be like, yes, what do you want to know?
Oh, my God, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So, and GrayburnCollege.net does not exist either. So, or maybe it did at the time, but it doesn't now. Because usually when they put that stuff up now, if they put a phone number or an email address.
Right, there's some viral marketing.
Right, there's something there set up for it. So, we see behind Bruce as he's working there, there's a sign that reads Brennix and Quaker State. Quaker State obviously is an oil, and so but I could not find what Brennix was. I did a lot of looking around, and maybe it's a Canadian thing. Maybe it was a Canadian thing, but my Google goes to Canada too, so I don't know why it didn't show up. But if anybody knows if Brennix is a chain up there, I would like to know, because I was just curious about this. But in meanwhile, he fires off the email and then goes back to join Betty, and then we go into the internet.
So wait, this email. We just talked about, again, how smart is Bruce? What's the subject? File from Mr. Green.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not coming from him. It's coming from,
I know.
Virginia Mechanic 03.
But once again, and what's the message? Mr. Blue, here's the data. It's time to meet.
Yeah.
Mr. Green.
I'm coming to your house.
Okay.
So then, we can see the big shield logo as I said, I guess this is... Let's get wonky. Let's say, hey, it's an early version of Ultron.
Well, okay.
It's a search parameter.
So we got to do this.
Very, very early AI.
We've had fun conversations about Final Cut Pro, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so Final Cut Pro and Editor, one of my favorite transitions of Final Cut Pro is the pan zoom, which is the transition exactly used here. As it, you see the image of the screen and then it just zooms in, and now we're into this crazy animated, what does the internets look like? And here's what we got.
Yeah, and so as it goes by, so I couldn't go frame by frame, but I paused a bunch of time and I pulled a bunch of the things that it was sorting through. So I have a list of a bunch of the things as it was sorting through, looking for the words blue and green in the same context. So we have, spoke with Mr. Jenkins. He asked why I've been feeling blue. It should be clear that the blue computer is sorting through every instance of these common green words anywhere they are written.
What is that? Who wrote that?
I don't know, but I was saying the person who did this probably had to write all of these things. And the grass is always greener on the other side. Okay, sure, makes sense. Mr. Patterson is predicting blue skies, but we'll see if it's actually sunny. We should hit blue and green very hard. I have no idea what that's about. I went ahead and bought the green dress. It cost a fortune, but it's worth it. Last one I saw was, it's amazing how little the color blue is used throughout normal communication. That was the end of the day. He's like, I gotta write something.
No, but I mean, they didn't even... Okay, so here, this I thought was funny too, is do you notice the emails that these messages are from in some cases, or two?
Mm-mm.
There's one, the one that you said it should be clear that the blue computer is sorting. The two is some at email ... No, wait, hold on. Now, I don't mean, we love the people who work behind the scenes to do this stuff.
Oh, of course.
You mean to tell me that, like...
No one, they couldn't imagine, in their wildest dreams, imagine
that someone was going to be doing this.
At this point, DVDs were brand new technology, so they're like, no way there'd be like high resolution enough they would go through and see all
but I'm
these
still
things.
surprised that as a designer, somebody didn't just go, well, I'm going to put my email address in this. You know what I mean? Like, or put my name. Like, right. I mean, whatever. I'm just surprised that, like, some of these are just, like, email at email.com. Okay, all right.
So as we're going through, that it finally finds the two words it's been looking for, green and blue, or Mr. Green and Mr. Blue in the same thing, and suddenly
it gets it.
Finds it, and it goes, search leads them to Grayburn College, Department of Cell Biology, Dr. Samuel Stearns. Which you could have pretty much guessed because his last name is actually in the email address. But yeah, so then we get to see, like, the title card comes up, with this, and there's Tim Blake Nelson, who we're going to talk about more when we actually meet him for real, as opposed to just seeing a picture of him. So we cut back to a busy office, and Major Spar, apparently having been, severely disciplined after her horrible showing at that last meeting, is now on desk
Once
duty.
again, she has been relegated to the CSI, NCIS, FBI, like all the places that everyone goes to die. And also, again, notice, because again, we're looking at this, an entire room full of men.
Yeah.
She is slumped with her hand over her forehead like...
As a member of the FBI walks past her wearing the blazer.
I really need to get out of here.
You're not on a raid, dude. Yes. You don't have to wear the blazer inside. Like, okay, like you see your badge. You don't have to make a big thing of it. Come on, Charles. Get it together. So then her computer lights up. Match found. And it pulls up, and then there's the title.
Ding.
There's the card of Dr. Samuel Stearns, a.k.a. Mr. Blue. Dun, dun, dun. So next to his picture, it actually says FISA, F-I-S-A. And I was thinking, what the heck is FISA? Why is it? So I looked into it. Turns out FISA is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which was introduced in May 18, 1977 by Senator Ted Kennedy and signed into law by President Carter on the 25th of October, 1978.
Wow.
It is a federal law that establishes procedures for the physical and electronic surveillance and collection of foreign intelligence information between foreign powers and agents of foreign powers suspected of espionage or terrorism. And before you ask about why is this being used for foreign powers, believe me, I did a deep dive into this, and it just gets way complicated in terms of what's considered foreign power or agent of foreign power. And
oh my God.
There's a lone wolf clause, and there's a technical thing, and does it cover in domestic terrorism, or is it only in and then we get into Patriot Act and all sorts of stuff. But that's what FISA stands for.
Oh wow, great pool though. I mean, that's an interesting little detail hidden in that. Awesome.
So
and then what happens?
On that card, that is where the minute comes to an end. As we're looking at Dr. Samuel Stearns, is now a person of interest in the case of Bruce Banner.
Wait, I think I can sense that all of the roads are going to converge.
It seems that way, and it seems that that this Grayburn College is in New York. Maybe that's where we're headed.
I wonder, depending on whatever Betty just spent $700 on.
That's right. Hopefully the thing that she got $700 for will help get them to to Grayburn College.
Nice.
Yeah. So in the meantime, if you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe, or even your phone's wardrobe, you can do so at nextreel.com/merch. You can get Marvel Movie Minute or Next Reel inspired clothing, pillows, phone cases, all stickers. I think are up there now.
Think about this: the stickers. Oh, stickers, and they're very inexpensive, right? But when you say head, right, just head to the nextreel.com/merch. Think about where you could place your head. You could place your head on a wonderfully, beautifully crafted pillow. Featuring both our faces.
That's right. Look down at the device you're listening to us right there. You see that lovely thumbnail? Think of that, but pillow-sized. And then think of your head resting next to it, thinking about all the wonderful times you've had listening to the previous 69 minutes of Hulk madness that we've gone through. So, at nextreel.com/merch, you can find all kinds of cool stuff there. And every time...
I think I want to just do
Oh.
As you were going with that.
And every dollar you spend there, a couple of quarters of it come back to us to help us keep the show a-running.
Thanks.
So, in the meantime, thank you all for listening. We'll see you back here for minute 71. I hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.
Stay funky.